Happy Spiritual Sunday to you all. Let's get started today. I have something very powerful and very inspired. So before we start, let's do our affirmation. Let me get it here for you. Okay. Can you see it? Okay. Let's say our affirmation together. Consciousness is everything. I raise my consciousness today to see the miracles and wonders of life. I commit myself to behave with greater love, compassion, and kindness towards all human beings. And I hope by the end of this lesson, we'll all be inspired to do more of that, to realize the personal benefit at being more loving, more kind, more compassionate towards all human beings. So I want to start with this idea, and some of you may have seen the title, Unmasking the Devil. And I wanted to talk about the devil, because it's not something we often talk about, although, as you'll see now, Kabbalah 1, at the third, fourth class, we discuss this energy, this consciousness, this understanding. But I wanted to make sure that all of you who are joining us here on Spiritual Sunday have the understanding of what the devil really is or who it is. And perhaps even if you've taken Kabbalah 1 before, in a new way or in a somewhat different way, or let's put it this way, as you've been growing and as you've been evolving, all the fundamental concepts have a deeper, more impactful emphasis in our life. I mean, the only reason that the Kabbalah Center is around is not to teach wisdom of Kabbalah. It's not to give people the understanding even of the Zohar, of this universal wisdom, of the other tools and the support that we have. The only purpose of the center for 100 years now is to remove all the pain and suffering from the world. Complete the mission that we came here for. So like we just affirmed, consciousness is everything. And I have to share with you, in this week, those of you who have a Zohar, understand the Zohar, or what it is, in the section of Vayikra, I saw very simply this idea, consciousness is everything. It says a person's thought is everything. It's just that simple. It guides us in the direction we're going to go. Whatever goes on in our mind is what will ultimately happen in our life. So we want to talk about this thing called the devil because, since whatever name you called it, and it has many names, but you go back, from the beginning of time, the story of the Garden of Eden. And those of you, if you're new to this wisdom, or you're new to Kabbalah or Spiritual Sunday, the Kabbalists teach us that the 5 books of Moses, it is history. These people existed and lived and all of that, but the more important part is what lesson, what understanding, what technology on a spiritual level can you and I derive from these stories, from these actions of people, the good and the bad, that will allow us to live in the most merciful, blessed, peaceful, harmonious way and fulfill the mission for which we came here, which is living in the Garden of Eden, heaven on earth, peace and harmony. And so from that time, this thing called the devil has many names. The devil, Lucifer, angel of death. From the Garden of Eden, people call it the snake. Even that's misunderstood if you read what the Zohar says, but that'll be for another class perhaps. But I wanted you to understand, because the essence of this devil, and we'll come up with a few names today, is an aspect of darkness, and we'll talk about it more, divisiveness. But I realized these last couple weeks in various conversations how universal it is. Even if you've been studying for years and years and years here in the center, that people still have somewhere in the back of their mind, let's call it remnants of religious thinking, and if I can, falsehoods. And that's what I wanted to face. Now, in many ways, this will be very deep. It'll be very controversial to some of you. It'll push a lot of your buttons. So all I can ask of you is, as we often say, I'm not asking you to just blindly believe what I say, but I am asking you also not to just blindly dismiss it because it doesn't fit what you've learned, understood, heard, etc. At least listen to the lesson, think about it. If you're in the center and you're not quite clear, call your Kabbalah teacher, have a conversation with them. Because when you look around the world today, I believe the world and your life and my life depends, truly depends on what we learn today. So let's think objectively. The concept that the devil is another force that's fighting God and in essence has equal power to God. So there's these two powerful energies, forces in the universe, God and the devil, that are fighting for the souls of mankind, humanity. So let's think about that. If there were truly a force called the devil that had equal power to the Creator, then why would there be universal scientific laws? Let's meanwhile set humanity aside. How could there be universal scientific laws? Simple thing, gravity, or nature as we understand, let's say, the rotation of the planets and the stars. If there were really a force equal to God called the devil, those things wouldn't exist because the devil would get in there, like in essence it does, as we all experienced in human life, and create chaos. We wouldn't be able to scientifically determine the exact time of sunrise and sunset, the rotation of the planets, but those things have been exact for thousands and thousands of years. If there really were a devil with equal power, it would get in there and mess it up, because that's, as many people think, is the purpose of this negative force. Satan, the devil, the angel of death, whatever name you want to give it. So there would be no universal scientific laws. On the other hand, if the devil, as a separate energy or entity to the Creator, to God, was less powerful, then why would it be even a factor in human life? In other words, I hope none of you are, let's say, scared of ants. But you know, in essence, if there's an ant in the house or an ant you see on the street, and I'm not telling you to kill them, but if you really think about it, you're really scared? I mean, we are so powerful over an ant. You could pick it up, throw it away, kill it. You could do all those things to it. You're not bothered by it because it's less powerful than we are. So if this devil Satan were less powerful than God, why is it a factor? Why is it a worry to us? Things that disturb us are things that we perceive are equal to us, so to speak, right? We have an equal challenge. I don't know, should I make this decision or that decision? Why? Because in the moment, at least, they seem to be equal. Well, this is good in 3 ways and bad in 3 ways, and this choice is good in 3 ways and bad in 3 ways. It's confusing. We're not clear. Then you have, those of you who have studied in the center, maybe you've heard these stories. You read in the Zohar, first off, it says very clearly in a few places that this force, as we'll come to understand really what it is, this force, it's an angel, as it's an angelic force, even as people say, Lucifer is the fallen angel and this, but it's an angel. Angels have no free will. Very clearly written by all the great Kabbalists in the Zohar itself, it said angels have no free will. So even the Zohar will say that this devil, angel of death, whatever name Satan you want to give it, needs permission to do what it does. It doesn't have free will to just run around the world and do whatever it wants. It does not. You and I understand there's a law of cause and effect. For every action, there's an equal reaction. As we often say, this is why we want to shine out into the world, love, kindness, and compassion, forgiveness, and tolerance, and all of that, because we want it to come back to us. You understand, if there really were this force of a devil, they were equal, then we would put out all the good energy, but it wouldn't come back to us. And again, then, what would be the biggest problem? We'd have no control over our life. There'd be no reason for even getting out of bed or even waking up in the morning. Why bother? If the world were really chaotic like that, random, because you never know when the devil is going to beat out God. And then there's, for me, one of the kind of, I don't want to say funniest stories, but it's interesting, it's cute from my point of view, the story in the Zohar of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the soul, the Kabbalist that channeled into this world, into written form, the Zohar, the blueprint of the universe, chasing after Satan, as we'll say for now, this devilish character, and the devil running away from him. In fact, had to go to the Creator and ask the Creator to take Rabbi Shimon out of the world, because Rabbi Shimon, by chasing this Satan, we'll call it, Satan the devil, by chasing him, was not allowing the devil to do the job that it was supposed to be doing in this world for all the rest of humanity. So, without going into all the details, God and Rabbi Shimon had a conversation, and Rabbi Shimon decided, okay, he would leave the world, but he was going to decide when and how. So the main point of this is I want us to really grasp the idea that, and meanwhile we'll call it the devil. The devil, Satan, has a very specific purpose that ultimately supports us in achieving our mission, our goal in this world, eternal peace, bliss, happiness, and joy. So let's unwrap or uncover more of this thing called the devil. So you and I have understood that we're here in this world to simply act like God. Let our light shine 24/7 because the Creator filled us with light. Our job is to shine light into the world, manifest that light, and then we can experience happiness, joy, peace. Now, in order, let's say, if you want to feel victorious in a game of tennis, to enjoy a victory, to enjoy an achievement, to have that true sense of lasting fulfillment, it has to be an effort to achieve. There has to be some force or obstacle of opposition. Like I always go back to tennis because I used to play a lot of tennis. If I want to feel victorious, that I achieved something in a game of tennis, I have to have an opponent that's at least equal to my ability. If I play somebody that's much lower in talent and ability and tennis skill than me, if I go out on the tennis court and I play a first-time tennis player, it might be fun because we're friends or whatever, but I'm not going to feel victorious by beating them because it was no challenge. I didn't have to put up an effort. I didn't have to use my talent and ability, my tennis skills very much. So, the same then in life. If we want to have lasting fulfillment, then we have to have an opponent. We have to have an opposition to revealing our light, an opposition, an opposing force to sharing our light, making it manifest, and having eternal bliss, peace, harmony, joy, prosperity, all the good things. There has to be. So here's what sometimes is the hardest for people to grasp and or accept. Just like me in the tennis. If I'm making an effort to grow and be a better tennis player, I will choose an opponent to get on the other side of the net who's at least equal to me. I'll choose them while I'm training, so to speak. I'll choose, okay, find somebody who's equal, and now we have a tough match. I have to focus, I have to use my skills, I have to stay conscious, concentrate, not be distracted, but I've chosen and in essence made that opponent, that challenger. So then Kabbalistically, we understand the same thing. You and I, as one soul, as we left the endless world, we decided and created a spiritual program, like a computer program, of opposition. And where did we plant it? In our head. We plant it in our heads. I often say, sort of metaphorically, on the left side of our brain is this program called the opponent, the challenger, the adversary, that's opposing our sharing our light, shining it out into the darkness to remove the darkness. And we put it on our head. Why? And this is part of the most valuable thing we could ever understand in any way, any aspect of life. This opponent in our head, we put it there because that's the only place where we have a fight. The only place that, if you will, I know game is not right, the game of life is played. Any game is. You remember, some of you remember, there used to be people, teaching the Zen of golf. All right, what does it mean, the Zen of golf? How you put your mind, how you relax, this and this will change the way you play golf or tennis, or what was it, Zen and motorcycle riding, or things like that. Or if you've ever played a sport, as long as I can remember, even when I played, Little League baseball, you would taunt the batter, right? We're in the outfield, we're now the defense, they're the offense. You would taunt the batter, meaning, as we'd call it, try and psych them out. Tennis, you try and psych out the other person. Football, whatever the sport is, you try and psych out your opponent. What does that mean? If you can affect them in the mind, in the thought, then their talent and skill of that sport or whatever it may be is going to diminish because you've got them distracted. So you and I come to understand the only battleground is here in our mind, between the programming of opposition and the light of our soul, the light of the Creator that is our true nature. That's why the Kabbalists teach us what people call the War of Armageddon. In Aramaic, Milchemet Gog uMagog means the war of thoughts. The ultimate war, the last war, the final war. In various religious teachings, Armageddon doesn't mean there's an enemy out there. It's here. The battle between the light, the voice of the soul, the voice of the Creator inside of us, and that programming of opposition that we planted there. That's it. Now, part of that programming is to create disguises. This opponent does all kinds of things to psych us out. So one of the disguises that it created is the devil. In fact, in Aramaic, what people pronounce Satan, if you go back even into the Hebrew to the Aramaic, it's the word Satan. And if you'll Google it, it means adversary, opponent, challenger. It doesn't mean devil. That's one of the psych out tricks, if you will, of this programming that we created. Remember, we created it to hone our skills, to help us make an effort to reveal our light into the dark parts of our life and the world, so that when the darkness goes away and light replaces it, not only is it more blessings and less chaos, we truly feel lasting fulfillment. So it's Satan, not Satan. There's no devil. It's adversary. Now, in a competition, when I played tennis or whatever sport you're watching or participate in, how do you know the better team? Simple terms, right? Super Bowl was whatever, month ago. How in essence do you know the better team? Is when they're in competition, whoever wins. At that moment, whoever wins the game, they're the better team. If I'm playing tennis, as I said, with somebody who's equal to me, generally, but in that one game, I win, then in essence, you'd say, I played better. Right? I'm the better player in that one. Now, we could play again the next day and the other person could win. So I'd have to say in that moment, they were the better team. They won. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. The competition is here between the voice of the opponent, and part of its trick is my opponent in my head, for as long as I've been alive as Chaim Solomon, has sounded exactly like my voice. Your opponent, for as long as you've been whoever you are in this lifetime, the voice of your opponent sounds just like your voice. So as we grow up, one of the other tricks is to make us believe that that negativity, you're no good, you're not capable, you're foolish, stupid, whatever it may be, tends to be believed by us. We've tended to accept because it sounds like our voice, so we think, well, it must be me. Nope, not. So we are here to be the better team. We are here actually to completely annihilate, in defeat, our opponent. That's the reason we programmed it. Like anything, my kids play video games. Yes, and there's 10 levels to a game, let's say. The purpose of the game and the programming of the game is that as they will be better and better, hone their skills at playing that game, they'll be able to defeat the 10th level and completely annihilate the opponent, the opposition. So too in life. The light, 100% of the time, will remove darkness, as we often speak about. Nowhere on earth can you light a light source, whatever that light source is, in the darkness, that it doesn't take away some aspect of darkness. Because light is the true eternal power, not darkness. So, as there is only light, the force of the light, there's no, now you're understanding deeper, there's no force of the devil. There's not even a force, really, of the opponent. That's why I like to consider the opponent like a parasite. The only energy it has is when a person will give it through reactive, self-centered, egotistical behavior, when a person will give away their light force that fuels our soul to the opponent. Like in the competition. If I hit the ball in the net, I've given the point, so to speak, to the other side. They get the point. So also I want to bring to you, some of you may know this, some of you may not, Kabbalistically, the word for sin, which again is a construct of the opponent. It's not a sin. You can't hurt God. There's no sin against God. What is the word sin? Avera. What does it mean? To transfer. You go to your bank, right? How many of you have transferred money for a birthday gift or something you owe, pay your credit card bill? You transfer money, meaning what? You take it out of your account and you give it to your friend, your family, whatever it is, or the credit card company. Avera, to transfer. So when a person does a reactive behavior, anger, fear, jealousy, greed, ego, insecurity, what have you, that person is transferring some of the light of their soul and giving it to the parasite called Satan, that opponent. Repentance, which is the traditional idea of getting back your light, so to speak, being absolved of the sin. Now, if you think it in that case, how do you make, if, and please understand it in this form, and I hope nobody just jumps in right now and they'll think we're really nuts. Consider, in our understanding, you go to the store and you charge $100 on your credit card. In essence, what are you doing? Quote, sin, right? Because simple terms, you've transferred or some of your money, so to speak, to the credit card company. Now, what's repentance? What's repentance? Because now you're in debt, right? You're in debt. You've created a debt, let's call it. The sin, you've transferred that debt to the credit card company. Repentance, tshuva, is Kabbalistically, as we teach it in the center, tashuv hey. Simple terms meaning to return the light of our soul back to our soul. So in essence, when you charge something on your credit card, you've created a debt that's now been given, so to speak, to the credit card company. At the end of the month, when you pay your debt, you are in essence retrieving your resources. You've paid your debt. So you're now whole and complete. So when we act in the opposite, like we say in our affirmation, greater love in the face of not wanting to be loving, you're paying off your debt. You are making tshuva, repentance. You spill something on the floor. The floor was clean. When you clean it up, you've done your tshuva. You've done your repentance. You've done your repair. You've brought the floor back to its clean state. We want to think in those terms. Kabbalistically, everything is just about energy. What's advantageous to us? What's disadvantageous? That's simple. So then when is the competition? When our buttons are pushed. When are we in a battle with that opponent in our head? When something triggers us and makes us feel angry, jealous, fearful, egotistical, or whatever. That's when the competition starts. Because the moment something triggers, and I wrote down here, right? Our job is to shine our light 100% into the darkness. So when we're being triggered, we have the choice. Because our head will tell us, somebody triggers anger, we want to act with anger, we want to scream and yell, this and this. No, our job is stop. We want to shine our light. We want to get the light back. Because in the end of the story, as all religions teach, our ultimate goal, love your neighbor as yourself. What does that mean? Unity. Our job is to create unity, oneness. So the essence of the opponent then, and if you look at the world, you see, looks like he's taken over most of the world now. Or at least he's ahead, let's put it that way. Because at the end of the story, we're going to beat him. The essence of the attack of the opponent is divisiveness, fragmentation, separate a person from the light of their soul, separate a person from the light of their soul that happens to be also embodied in those other 8 billion people out there. As we always speak about, there's only one soul. It's just embodied in 8 billion different bags of flesh, as we could call it, right? But it's light. It's light, which is the essence of the Creator and the essence of our being. So our job is love your neighbor as yourself, meaning we came into this world as one, we shattered into 8 billion pieces, and life is really about doing the actions of shining our light into the darkness that's between those separated pieces to bring the pieces back together. When you create a space, that space is where the darkness exists. When you act like the light, you bring the two pieces together, the darkness disappears. In the dark in your house, you walk in your door, it's dark. In simple terms, there's a separation of darkness between you and the dining room table or you and the living room couch. You turn on the light now unites, that there's no separation. You clearly see the table, you see the couch, you see the chairs, you see whatever it is. It creates unity. The opponent is there to cause us, taunt us, to create separation and divisiveness. to pit us against each other, and even to pit us against ourselves. So let me start with an example, because maybe it's getting a little difficult to follow or hold on to. So let me just start with a story that I spoke with one of my students this week. And probably like a lot of us, to various extents, we have a sense of low self-esteem. Probably every human being on earth, because to truly embody the fact that we are pieces of the Creator, we're not a separate entity, so to speak, created in the image and likeness of God, as the Kabbalists teach us, mean we have the full power of the light of God inside of us. Our soul is the container for that piece of light. And I don't think anybody really, or very few people, truly grasp that fact in all of its ramifications. So anyway, I was speaking with a student who has a tendency, for various reasons in his life, to have a low sense of self-value. We say low self-esteem. So he was telling me how he was having a conversation with one of his relatives, close relative, who was telling them, the relative was basically sort of complaining how he's stressed out about his kids that are attending Ivy League schools, and they want to do big things in life, and how much money, say $500,000, or it's going to cost him, that he's got to come up with to pay for this education. Now, what my student was telling me, because as now you're getting it clearer, in his brain, there's that parasite that all his life has made him believe he's not so good, he's not so smart, he's not this, he's not that. And even though he's been very successful financially in life, he still holds on deep within him this sense of low self-esteem. So as his relative is telling him, yes, he's so stressed out about having to, come up with $500,000, and the relative is also successful, but was just kind of saying, it's $500,000 or whatever it is to put his kids who are doing big things in life. So the student's telling me, in his mind, what is he hearing his relatives say? Bragging about he's got kids who are so smart, they're going to be in this, in these high-level jobs or positions or professions, and how he's so good in business or affluent that it's $500,000 or whatever, $750,000 to pay for this education. That's not what the relative was saying. The relative, I'm sure, in their mind, was stressed out about having to come up with all that money to pay for the education. But because the competition in the mind of the relative is only between the two aspects in the relative's mind, and the competition of the student is in his mind, so his opponent telling him, yeah, see, look what your relative telling you, that you're not so good, you're not so rich, you're not so successful in business. No. So it's the same thing. So let me give you a couple other examples. So someone tells you how great you are. We'll start off with a good one. Wow. Tells me how great, what wonderful things you did, how amazing you are, and this and this. Are you going to let the opponent in your head build up your ego? I am better. I am so great. Wow. I am better than this one and that one and these people. No, remember, we're all one soul. We cannot have all of our blessings unless simultaneously we are helping others to have their blessings. So in essence, we all need each other. Now, even though you may know more about a certain subject, or you may be better in a sport or whatever, that may be true in the 1% physical world, but on a soul level, nobody's better than anyone else. Nobody is more consequential or less consequential. Everybody is essential. So in the moment that people are saying how great you are and praising you and this, listen, The opponent's going to be telling you, yeah, you're great, you're wonderful. And of course, because of various things happen in your life, you're going to look back and go, oh yeah, you know Joe who used to tell me I'm a nothing? Look how great I am. Or are you going to pause and say, wait a second, I want to beat, I want to listen to the voice of the light that's telling me, no, it's not your talent and ability that made this happen. It's the power of the Creator inside you that you made use of to do this. So you're going to beat the opponent that's taunting your ego with using the light force of humility. No, I'm not any better than anyone else. The Creator gave me this talent and ability, and I made use of it to do this thing that they're talking about. Then I've beat my opponent. So I took the light force back from the last time I reacted to the opponent with ego and gave away some light. Now, by acting in the face of ego with humility, I'm taking back. I'm beating the opponent. I'm gaining on it. So that if I keep doing that, eventually I win. Someone gets a new car. You see, whatever, got a new car, got a new job, got a raise, whatever it is. What's the opponent going to jump in? Jealousy. Why should they have it? I should have got it. They're not better than me. I'm so much smarter, whatever. Comes the jealousy. And it's called the green-eyed monster. Means the opponent wins when a person acts with jealousy. Those thoughts, how could they have it? Why are they having it? They shouldn't have it. I should get it. Transferring some of your light to the opponent. Or, as we teach, pause, stop, think, be conscious. Do I want to give my light away, heaven forbid, to the opponent? No. So how do I take back from the opponent the light that I've given away before? Act with gratitude. Act with appreciation. Yes, appreciation for what I have, what I do, what I've achieved in life. Appreciation for the light being revealed in my life through those actions. And at the same time, for that person, be happy. Be happy they got the new car, they got the new relationship, they got the new job, they got the raise. Be happy for them. Gratitude and appreciation, because then I'm getting back some of my light from my opponent, not from them. I'm getting the light from my opponent that I gave away, and I'm putting out in the universe. Happiness and appreciation and gratitude. It'll go out, it'll come back. And as Rav Ashlag teaches us, the founder of the center, appreciation is an expanded vessel for more blessings. More blessings will come back. Just like in business terms, appreciation. So if I put out appreciation and gratitude for what I have in level 1, it'll go out and appreciate as it comes back. So now the blessing comes back, let's say, 2.0, or it comes back 50% greater, if you're following like that. Or you hear news. The news, oh my God, the economy this, the economy that, and suddenly the opponent's saying, you better be careful. Don't keep being charitable. Don't keep being generous, because maybe you won't have enough money if you do. So a person becomes a little stingy, stops giving, stops this, so they think they're saving their money. Just gave the point to the opponent, gave some of their soul's energy, even of prosperity, to the opponent. Pause. No, my source is the Creator. The only power any of us have is the light of the Creator implanted in our soul. And in that is perfect health, infinite prosperity, abundance, peace, harmony, all the good blessings, the right relationships, protection on the street. You know what? No. So I'm going to listen to the voice of my soul that says, keep being generous, because generosity will breed prosperity. Giving charity breeds prosperity. Giving tithing breeds prosperity. And so no matter what they're saying on the outside about the economy or whatever, keep being generous. You keep sharing, which is the only reason we're here. It'll come back even more abundant. Again, if you're giving, everybody knows, tithing brings abundance and prosperity. Don't stop, just keep going. Or the last example I give you, somebody does or says something nasty, pushes your button of hurt or anger. You want to be resentful. Okay, When a person acts resentful, again, they're taking their energy of their soul, the light of the Creator, giving it to the opponent. Now they're holding on to resentment. They have a debt of resentment. Pause, say, no, I don't want that to come back. I don't want a debt of resentment. I want to get back, in fact, tshuva, repair. I want to get back, retransfer, if you will, from the opponent back to me, back to my soul, back to my light account. I want to get that light back. So I act with forgiveness. I act with compassion. I act with tolerance. I'm shining the light out through the darkness of that moment that I was feeling resentful. Now I'm taking back some of the light that I've given away previously. Keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing that. Because remember, we have 100% light inside of us. Our job is just to shine it out into the world. And as we shine it, the blessings come. Because we're revealing our light, and that's all that's missing. Darkness is darkness. You turn on the light, darkness goes away. The universe wants us to reveal our light. The Creator filled the soul that we're all part of completely with light so we could come into this world, shine our light, like we're saying today, in the face of opposition. You know, what does it mean when you hear that phrase that many people say, oh, you know, somebody acted in a nasty way, I'm going to take the higher road. Now you understand it more clearly, more specifically. Taking the higher road means don't listen to the opponent. Take back from the opponent some of the light that you've given before. And when we keep taking that light back and taking it back and taking it back, pretty soon our opponent has nothing left. And as we said from the beginning, it has no power of its own. It is only able to exist by the power each of us give it. So we want to remember there is only one opponent. I don't have an opponent. I don't have an enemy that's different than yours. There's only one. Your opponent, my opponent is one and the same. It's that programming, the same way we're one soul, even though in simple terms, I have a piece, you have a piece, all 8 billion people have a piece of the one puzzle. So too, in the same way, there's only one program of the opponent, of Satan, of the challenger, and we each fight our piece. Like my kids, when they play these battle games, video games, and they're a team. So each team member is fighting an aspect of the same opponent, meaning there's one team, even if you call it a team of opposition, and they're a team opposing the opponent. But each one has to do their battle. They can't just walk around all of them and do nothing. Each one fights whatever opponent comes their way. We have 8 billion people on the planet. The opponent has made us think that there's a human being who is our true opponent. No, that human being, and again, especially if you're new, doesn't mean we're saying people don't do negative things. But every human being is a pure and perfect being of light. Every person, because we're all created by the Creator. We come from that Creator. So there are people who do negative things because they're caught up. And think about the competition, right? If a person loses the competition, what happens? Happens again, because the universe wants us to have 100%. So it just keeps giving us another chance to beat the opponent, beat the opponent, beat the opponent. That's our life. Because you didn't beat the opponent, you're now 1 point behind, like in tennis, right? You have to win the game, right? So that you have 6, right? You have to win 6 games. Oh, God. You get the idea. You have to outnumber, if you will, your opponent. So why do we have repetitive patterns? Now you see. Because every time we give away the light, it's our light, we have to get it back. Which means we have to be in a similar situation again to take back the light by defeating the opponent. So there's no human being that's our opponent. The only opponent there is, we all have the same one, that thought in our head, that program in our head. So, as the Rav said, and sort of completing this lesson, The opponent, as we've said, is an angel, and it's really there to help us. Yeah, it's not very pleasant as it's doing its job, its programming, but it's really there as a backstop. If a person's not on a spiritual path, then the opponent is there to keep giving them the opportunity to take back from their opponent the light they've given away before when those same challenges come up again. In other words, in simple terms, if you had to beat the opponent on the other side of the net or the other team and they don't show up, in essence, you can't beat them. When they show up and now they're playing a tough game and you're playing a better game and you beat them, now you've got the point, now you have the satisfaction, now you feel victory. Now, in spiritual terms, you have all the blessings: peace, love, protection, prosperity, all the good things, clarity. So there's no way to escape the competition. There's no way to escape the opponent except for beating it. So the Rav used to talk about how, yes, the opponent is really on our side, there to help us. Even you and I who are on the spiritual track, they're making an effort. There are things we don't remember we've done. There are certain reactive behaviors we don't realize we have. So when the challenge comes up, the opponent is inside our head saying, here, be mean to that person. So we can pause and say, oh my God, I didn't realize that I still had meanness or anger or insecurity. And then we can take back by proactive behavior, by shining our light out into the world. We can take away the darkness, retrieve the piece of light that we've been giving away in the past. So the Rav used to say the greatest trick of the opponent is to make us think it doesn't exist. Because if there's no opponent in our brain, then when we're feeling bad and our buttons are pushed, who's the cause? The other person. Remember, those of you who didn't see or need to see it again, a couple weeks I posted a video. Don't take the pen or stop taking the pen. Go back and watch it now with this consciousness. You'll understand the reason we take the pen and the reason we take things personally is because the opponent's taunting us to, and we're just giving into it. So the Rav said that the trick is to make us believe it doesn't exist, so we're fighting divisively other people. When you're angry at somebody, there's a division between you and them. But in truth, on a soul level, we're unified. So we don't want to leave that space of darkness, which is where all the chaos and the illusion and the negativity exists. We don't want to allow that opponent in our head to justify us. So remember, there's no person, no outer situation that's our opponent. You and me and every human being on earth, we have the same opponent. It's one and the same, that parasitic program in our head. So today, we've received a powerful awareness, a wake-up call, a soul wake-up call, that the opponent can only exist in the darkness of separation. It can only exist where we've separated ourselves either from our own soul by all that negativity, and as we've talked about before, the curtains we create, or between people. So today we commit ourselves to fight in unity against the one opponent. And that's the beauty. You don't have to fight 10 or 12 different things. Pause. Whatever it looks like on the outside, when you pause and say, no, my only enemy, my only opponent is that thought in my head, that parasitic thought of being angry, jealous, fearful, insecure, guilt, shame, etc. Then, when we commit ourselves to make the extra effort to shine light into the world. So I'm feeling jealous, shine the light of gratitude. I'm feeling resentful, shine the light of forgiveness. As we shine light into the darkness, we take away the darkness, we take away the space between each of us, the light in you and the light in me and the light in them and the light in us, and we take away the space between us and the full blessings that the Creator's already set out for us. We shine light, the darkness disappears. The angel of opposition, Satan, the angel of death, can only exist in the dark. So as we'll shine light, and enough of us are shining enough light, we take away the darkness. And then we cause the disguise that this angel of opposition is wearing. We allow it to remove the disguise and to reveal itself as an angel of light, as an angel of life that can be revealed forever. And humanity can live as the Creator desired us to live from the beginning, in love, peace, unity, happiness, forever and forever. God bless. So we're doing this virtually. I'd like to just take, as we always do, and one again to thank you all for your help and your support. And so, okay, I put it there. So we'll do our meditation just on the offering. So those of you, you can give your offering here. I gave you the link. We do appreciate it because it's the only thing that allows us to complete our mission. Ultimately, as we often talk about, spreading the Zohar, which is a conduit of light. I wanted to say a book of light. It's just a portal. It allows us to connect to the endless light, that pure light of infinite goodness, and draw it into this world. When there's enough light, yes, we make our own effort, but the faster we'll spread this and remove these clouds of darkness, then more and more people who are caught up in the darkness and the negativity of darkness, as the darkness disappears from them, they start to see the truth as we're learning it. Acting with greater love, kindness, compassion, generosity, tolerance, humility in the face of its opposite, in the face of darkness, is what brings us greatest satisfaction, removal of our darkness, more love, peace, and blessings in all way, shape, or form, less chaos and less confusion. So yes, we need your help and we need your support. Not only should you have at least one with you and give them away to your friends and family, but also help support our programs that allow more people to come and learn, that allow more people to have a Zohar, those who can't afford or those in difficult situations. And as always, what goes around comes around. So the effort you make to help support what we're doing, one, the less people in a 1% way we have to worry about committing negative acts because they're being awakened. Their light of God is awakened inside them and more inside of us. So we have also less negative acts for us to do and more power to take back from our opponent, more and more of our light. So that's why we take this time to bless our offering. So just close your eyes with me. And after we do the meditation on the 72 name, which we're going to do here in a few moments, you can go online and just give your offering. So just to have a gratitude and appreciation, that's our greatest blessing, because we've increased the value in our mind of who we are, what we have. Even the appreciation, the greater value of understanding that the darkness is actually light waiting to be revealed, that every challenge comes our way is an opportunity for us to take back our light from the opponent who's there in that challenge also in the moment. And gratitude for this wisdom that gives us the understanding, the tools, and the support to be able to defeat our opponent, take back our lives, and have greater blessings. And so with this offering, given through the projects of the center, we also appreciate on a higher level how much impact we're having on the heart and soul of 8 billion people to remove their blockages, to have more inner awakening and motivation to act with greater love, forgiveness, tolerance, unity, and peace. And we know with great clarity and certainty that these actions of generosity will go out into the cosmos. It will pick up appreciation, a higher value, and bring us back manifold blessings. And together we say, Amen. So I wanted to use this name, Yud Yud Yud. Those of you familiar, it's called Stop Fatal Attraction. And since we all understand like attracts like, the real fatal attraction, so to speak, is having the same challenge over and over and over again, because we've given away our light to the opponent. So then we want to stop that process and take back our light. So these three letters, in this case, they happen to be the same, Yud, Yud, Yud. They combine to be one of the 72 names of God, as you see in the chart behind me, right? And the Hebrew letters are just portals to the endless light. This combination is giving us the ability to take back our light, to no longer be attracting negativity, but the opposite. Stop fatal attraction and increase divine attraction. Yud, Yud, Yud. So those of you who are newer to this, just let the shapes of these three energy forces be engraved in your mind's eye, remembering the names Yud, Yud, Yud. And then if I can ask you, sit comfortably in your seat, feet flat on the floor, hands on your lap, taking a few deep breaths, breathing in through the nose, hold the breath for a moment, exhale through your mouth. We know that the breath we breathe is originally called the breath of life. That breath that metaphorically was breathed by the Creator into the soul of humanity and gave us life, gives us life. So we're channeling this energy of the physical breath and the spiritual light as we're circulating it in through the nose, hold it for a moment, exhale through the mouth. The light, as it's awakening and increasing and becoming brighter in and around us, is dissipating. Darkness, chaos, discord, divisiveness, and the illusion that there's not infinite light. Allow yourself to relax, feeling this awakening of the light of the Creator inside every cell of your body, awakening a greater awareness of the infinite light in the universe in and around you, that you feel a higher level of being embraced, enveloped in this infinite light, this power of unconditional love. Even in your mind's eye, this light, removing the clouds of darkness, strengthening your connection to the light and the voice of the Creator inside you. So we envision the Yud, Yud, Yud above our heads, seeing the beam of light from the endless world, connecting through these three energy forces, that they're shining, glowing with the infinite light of the Creator. Yud, Yud, Yud. And allow them, draw them in through the top of your head, that this pure light to dispel darkness, to allow the voice of your soul that knows exactly the solution to every difficulty in your life, the things to say, to do, allowing that voice to be louder, attracting more light, even to be able to hear the voice of the light from the souls of other people. Those people in that situation that has pushed your buttons. To see that in that situation is the light of the Creator. And therefore, with the support of this Yud, 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 that is now allowing, activating on a higher level every spark of light inside of us to glow bright, that our energy shines that much further into the world as it's shining out of us, that we're attracting more of the light, the divinity, the love, all the great blessings into our life. Yud, 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 filling us from head to toe. Seeing a sphere of light surrounding us. Feel its vibration, its warm energy. And together, in unity, which is the ultimate strength and power against our opponent, challenger, let's unite our spheres of light. And now in unity, in this quantum ability, as we are united, let's see the sphere of light expanding. It's embracing, enveloping 1 billion people, expanding and embracing 2 billion, 3 billion. Notice how the darkness is dissipating, that there's greater clarity, that you can see and feel more good, happier people, more loving and joyous people. 5, 6, 7, 8 billion people, the entire planet, surrounded in this light. Every person awakened, even shockingly awakened to the power of the light inside them. What they felt was missing. And as we all have tried from the outside to get it, now in this illumination, we see that it's waiting inside of us, simply to be shined out, projected out into our world, to manifest all our good blessings. The world surrounded in light, that you see there's no more darkness, that the opponent has come out of its disguise, that we see it as the angel of life, the angel of light. You even see the smile on its face and the gratitude it has to all of us for being able, for doing the actions to free this angel of light and life from the role it had to play as the opponent and the challenger to each of us. Take a moment to look inside you and see how the blockages of your heart have broken, disappeared, that the true light in your heart of unconditional love is now shining, radiating, vibrating out. Take note of this greater feeling of love that you have now. The awareness, as you see it in your mind's eye, of the true light being inside every person on earth. Hold that vision, record it in your heart, soul, and mind. And the unity that we have, so that as each of us go our own way, We take with us the support, the strength from this collective energy we have created and connected with now. That with certainty, focus on being a channel of light, we win every competition with our individual opponent. We have the strength to pause when triggered. Listen to the voice of the light as it's louder and clear in our mind now, and then follow its direction. That collectively, you and I, all of us connected to this wisdom, speeding up the removal of darkness, the revelation of light, peace, love, and unity in the world, forever and ever. Together we take one more deep breath to anchor this into our heart, soul, and mind, that it's with us forever. And then slowly exhale as you open your eyes. Thank you for being with us. I look forward to seeing you next week. But more importantly, I'm going to thank you for participating, contributing, and please help us spread this word. Just share this video. We have here on Facebook. We also have on Instagram. I also have a Spiritual Sunday channel on YouTube. Just let others know that there is such a thing, and tell them what's happened in your life, how your life has changed for the better. That will inspire them to go look. It's not your job to be their teacher, so to speak, and try and explain Kabbalah. Just share with them how it's made your life better. That's enough inspiration for them to go and investigate and find for themselves this teaching, this wisdom, and the transformation of life that comes with it. I'd love to hear your stories, also your questions. Write me. God bless. Have a great day. Have a great week. And may we see in our time the end of all darkness for everybody. God bless.
Thank you for joining us. If you liked what you saw, subscribe to this channel that you'll be notified when we post new videos. Share the video with your friends, they can also benefit. And check out the website, www.kabbalah.com, that's Kabbalah, for hundreds of articles and classes. Wish you an amazing day, and God bless.